What's going on, everybody? It's Nice Pants Lance. I wanted to wait till later to make y'all this video, but I just wanted to explain a few things. Had to take a step outside on my lunch break to just kind of explain what's going on with this Polaris Indian situation. You heard the news. Polaris is selling Indian motorcycle. Now, this is alarming because they are selling a majority stake, not selling the whole company. They're selling a majority stake. So Polaris will still be involved a little bit. They're selling majority stake to a private equity firm, Carolwood LP Carolwood. But either way, LP Carolwood, based in California. They are a private equity firm, and they will now be having majority stake at Indian Motorcycle. Now, this makes me nervous. I am pretty sure this makes you nervous as well. We've seen what happens when private equity firms get a hold of companies that are on the way up, or private equity firms that try and rejuvenate brands that are on their way out. Sometimes what happens is they cut and splice, and they're too busy looking at that top dollar to really make the company profitable. Sometimes the companies get sold off, certain assets and divisions get sold off, and sometimes the companies don't end up staying around. So this kind of makes me nervous. It was nice. Indian being owned by Papa Polaris. They make all their money by selling snowmobiles, side-by-sides, and other power sports equipment. So, Papa had a big wallet. I felt comfortable knowing that Indian was owned by a good American power sports company that's got revenue making of their own. So with that being said, Indian wasn't the largest moneymaker for Polaris. I believe in a 12-month period, they rolled in, I think they made Polaris almost $500 million in revenue, but that only made up about 7% of Polaris's revenue in total. So you can kind of see the writing on the wall here. Polaris themselves haven't been really doing amazing either. And when a company's main breadwinning operation starts to struggle a little bit, what do you think that company's going to do? Well, they're going to go after their side piece, namely Indian. Indian is 7% revenue out of the company. Kind of makes sense that Polaris is looking to drop them. Not only that, but Mike Doherty, I believe he was the director for the whole Polaris Indian thing. He was involved in the game for decades, and he announced his retirement. So after they sell off Indian, Mike Doherty is going to retire. So kind of makes sense. They tied up that package and shipped it off pretty cleanly. So this could be a terrible thing if this private equity firm comes in and just like dismantles the company. We don't want a bunch of suit and ties sticking their grubby little mitts into our beloved Indian motorcycle brand and trying to turn it into some sort of corporate show. So but listen, before you click off the video and give up, before you go run into the Harley dealership with your Indian to trade in, hear me out. I believe that this is going to be the best move for Indian yet. And here's why. So, this private equity firm, LP Carolwood, they announced that they want Mark Kennedy to lead Indian Motorcycles. I think after December, I think January is when everything's going to start to roll in. So Mark Kennedy has a long time history in the motorcycle industry. First of all, he was the CEO of Rumble On for many years. I think they're now called Ride On or something like that. They've merged or turned into another company, but that's like the largest power sports dealer in the whole United States. I mean, they ship motorcycle parts, power sports parts all across the United States. They've been doing that for a while. Second, this Mark Kennedy guy, he was a part of Harley Davidson for 26 years. So this is a motorcycle guy we're talking about. This isn't a Puma shoe company CEO. This isn't a Top Golf CEO or a Pizza Hut CEO here. We're dealing with Mark Kennedy, he's an actual motorcyclist. Not only did he spend 26 years working for Harley Davidson in the 2000s, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was also a part of Vance and Hines. He freaking ran Vance and Hines. What is Vance and Hines? For you guys that don't know, if you ride a Harley, you already know what Vance and Hines is. They're an aftermarket company. They are famous for supporting Harley Davidson, creating parts for Harley Davidson. They had like factory Vance and Hines exhausts that were like louder than the stock exhausts. So anyone that's ever upgraded a Harley Davidson has heard of Vance and Hines. They are a performance, an American performance-related motorcycle company. And so all those things right there, that actually gives me a good feeling about this Mark Kennedy guy. It does seem like being sold to a private equity firm could be a bad thing, but we've seen amazing product come from Indian Motorcycle over the last 10 years. They've been making some amazing stuff, and I honestly think that Indian Motorcycle is developing. They're starting to create their own culture here surrounding the product they make. They might not have the heritage and the camaraderie and the just the overall cult that Harley Davidson has, but I feel like this is an opportunity for Indian to create their own identity. They are slowly becoming their own thing, and this is great because even though Indian doesn't sell as many motorcycles as Harley, I think Harley on a bad year will ship out like 150,000 motorcycles. I think a good year for Indian Motorcycles is around the 30,000 unit sales area, give or take. Now, albeit Harley's decline in unit sales has been dropping at almost twice the rate that Indians' unit sales have been dropping. So, we kind of have the situation where Harley Davidson themselves, they are so big that even on their decline, they're still beating the crap out of Indian as far as sales go. But Indian, despite the challenges that this economic market is bringing, Indian is still hanging out in the same zone. They're still within that zone. They're still staying afloat. And you can't tell me that 30,000 motorcycles isn't enough. Look at Ducati. Ducati is like, I think they're barely doing 50 to 60,000 bikes a year, and they've been famous forever. MV Agusta, they are an extremely, extremely coveted sport bike manufacturer. They make some beautiful looking performance machines. They barely sell 10,000 units a year. So I'm not worried about this. I think that this sale to LP Carrowood and under Mark Kennedy, I think that this move is going to be perfect for Indian. We have a motorcycle guy that understands what it's like to have that heritage and culture, a guy that understands how important aftermarket customization is, the Vance and Hines. And so Indian being in this situation, this could be like their big break for really taking off and becoming a strong-based company. So with that being said, that's really all I got for you guys. Just wanted to talk about it. Thanks if you watch my videos. If you guys have ever seen my shorts or any of my videos, please give me a like and subscribe. I don't do YouTube for my main job, but I try and give you guys a little bit of content every week. So if you enjoyed any of my content, please give me a little like, a little subscribe, and tell me what you think about the Indian sell-off. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. Please give me some more information. If you guys know something that I don't know, please tell me about it in the comments. I'm super curious to see where Indian goes to after this. I really hope that LP Carrowood doesn't chop up the company and sell it off in a few years. I really hope that being under Mark Kennedy's leadership will make this company rise up to the leagues of Harley Davidson. Thanks, everyone. Catch you on the next one. Peace.